Okay, so these are broken down into steps, and then the steps are up here. I'm going to go through it in analysis style, and then we're going to have people come up and do it with Rick in exercise. Okay? So, step one, you're building rapport with them. You welcome them. Oh, hey, how's the store working? How's your day? Cool, great. Well, enjoy a cup of coffee, like, just soak up some water or whatever. Like, you need anything, bottle of water or something, you're in a store with no coffee or, like a little cafe you can kind of stop at. But you're going to find an area that is just like a little cozy spot, whether it be like Starbucks across the way, or the subway, by the Walmart, like that sort of spot where you can sit down. That's what you're looking for, that type of location. Okay, you don't want to be just standing in the middle of the store going, okay, we're going to have this interview, you and me in the middle of the store, near your women's clothing. Like, in the house. So, step two is getting them to open up, getting to breathe a little bit. You're going to congratulate them on making that first round of interviews. If you're sitting with me, it means that you felt that you may be a good prospect for our company. You spoke with so-and-so, one of the recruiters recruiting for you. You spoke with Jill, right? And where'd you hear about us? Oh, you got that ad on Monster. Cool, great. So what attracted you to applying for this position? There's your first point where you're like, pitch to me. Pitch to me. What attracted you to this position? Why don't you want to go in and do something else? Why do you want to slice tomatoes in Walmart? Great. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Standard interview question. Just kind of letting them open up. And this section that follows is going to be slightly improv-based, based off of what they're responding, what you are reading about them on their resume as they're talking. So I'll be looking at the resume and kind of listening along with them, cataloging, but also note, oh, they went to this university. Hey, how well do you? I have a couple of friends up in Boston. We actually have a market up there too. It's nice. Yeah, the guy who runs it is real cool. You see what I mean though? And then like, okay, talk to me about Boston. How were your experiences there? Cool. Why are you trying to apply for this position? What do you want from me? Is almost what you're asking. That's kind of what you want it to feel. You want to feel like how are you going to make me think that you belong here? It's sort of like the underlying subtext of this whole thing. I'm looking at your resume, I'm kind of feeling you out, like, where do you stand with this, where do you stand with that? And these are the types of questions that you're asking, just like Rick was saying, he's doing that zero in, getting these questions specific, and then being like, oh, you want something with flexibility, great. Oh, you want something that accentuates performance. You don't like waiting tables because you're a freaking actor, and you don't want to be sitting around waiting tables when you could be doing something that's performance-based. That's why you're sitting in front of me right now. Oh, okay. I'm just going to put that right back there. So I'm going to get back to that in about 10 minutes. See what I'm getting at? Cool beans. Save everything they say for the turn. And then, step 3 is just to select questions that are going to make your lives a whole lot easier. So after we cover these select questions, you'll decide whether or not you're going to turn them or burn them. And if you burn them after the select questions, you just go, okay, great, thank you so much. We'll keep you in mind. We just skip right to the end. Great. Any last questions? Wonderful. Well, thanks for coming in. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. We'll be in touch. Good luck on your job search. Boom. Just get them out the door. Good luck on your job search. If you have any more questions, we'll be in touch. I think that's all I need today. Thank you very much. Have a great day. If this section 3 doesn't work out for you. You see where I'm getting at? You can cut them loose after section 3. So you may want to put a big line in your script after section 3. Bless you. Okay, you might want to make a big star note that the interview 2 goes to section 3, no matter what. Just to give you guys enough time and enough space in conversation to kind of say, do I want this person or not? You let them talk at you a little bit. You let them open up a little bit. You build a little rapport with them. Who is this person? That sort of vibe. And then the section 3. The questions are, what are you looking for in a job besides the obvious answer? Money. Are you looking for part-time work or full-time work? We know the answer to that. Part-time work, cutting loose.
Right.
Or turning them on full-time work. Oh, this is actually a full-time position. You know, the hours can be flexible, but we do request 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You know. Are you presently employed? If so, where? Oh, how do you like it? Oh, and here we go. Here's some other turn points. Let me just put that in the back of my head moments. Are you looking for replacement or supplementary work? If they're like, oh, I just want to supplement, then you got to go back to the full-time position. That's not this kind of job. If you want to make 6 figures, you should probably just commit to it. Yeah, commit to it. And of course, we're not saying this right off the bat, but that's the energy. I'm giving you the energy that you want to bring into this thing. See where I'm getting at there? Awesome. What do you enjoy about the job that you work? And note later for later use and turn. All these are later use and turn things, but especially these two. What do you like the least? Because what they like the most about their present job or their present jobs that they've had, if they're unemployed right now, what they like the least are exactly what, oh, well, this job offers everything that you like and it doesn't have everything that you hate. Oh boy, maybe it's a good fit. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm crazy. You know? If we were to call for a referral, how would your coworkers and managers describe you? Really solid. Really solid way, and that's a great one that you can zero in on too. Because they're going to give some generic BS like, oh, very hardworking. And it says it right here, a little note about it. So ask for specific details. What would they give as the #1 example as to why you're hardworking? You know? How many times did you load that McDonald's fryer that day? Or whatever, I don't know.
16.
That's good. You did 16 times?
Well done.
Wow.
Is that a single shift or a double shift? Single. That was
That's good.
Yeah.
That was in an hour.
That was a high Friday.
And I gave the salt an extra shake.
Ooh. So do you have any issues with memorizing a script that is 12 to 15 minutes in length? Oh, by the way, do you have a valid ID with you? It's just, we do a quick background check. I just want to make sure you have a driver's license.
See it.
Cool. Awesome.
See it. Ask for it.
See it. How'd you get here today? Yeah, that's my accent out there. It's just a little thing, but it gets around the city quick. Nice. What did you drive? Do you have a car? The 6 train. Do you have a car that you're driving here? How's the engine? How many miles? 4 tires? Like, we know they gotta have a car. They can't do this job without one.
It's not just asking, do you have a car? It's, hey, what kind of car do you have?
Yeah, what kind of car do you drive?
For real.
Oh,
If it's an old
bus.
poopty beater,
Share it with
that's
us.
another turn point right off the rip. If it lasts, ain't gonna go. I've had people come to me with their cars are on the last legs, and before you know it, they're driving brand new rides within 30 days. You know? Stacey Smith just bought a new car. You know what I'm saying? She did. It happens all the time. Mr. Bird just bought a new car over there. You know?
We had an agent in Philly buy a new car. She came in when I won, and she was like, I'll buy one. That was the first thing she did. License. Did you drive here today? I drive blank. What's your car like? How's it been running for you? It should feel like small talk, but you're actually getting the diagnosis on one of the most important parts of whether or not they can do this.
Now, what's the point of you telling them what you drive?
It's because it's small talk. It's small talk. It's just you're building rapport.
There's a love about it.
It's also,
So you're not
it
looking
also
for the
makes
right
it
answer.
sound less questioning.
It sounds less questioning. So yeah, yes, let me get that. Because step 3 shouldn't be like, what are you looking for in a job besides the obvious answer? Are you looking for part-time work or full-time work? Are you presently employed? If so, where? How do you like it? Are you looking for replacement or supplementary work? What do you enjoy most about the job? Oh, I'll remember that for later. What do you enjoy this is a skeleton. The scripts that you are receiving are are skeletons that you are going to flesh and shape using your talent and your intelligence and what you know about your market and the people you are trying to fill it with. If you are reading these scripts that we are handing out to you today verbatim every time, like a robot, you are not doing your job correctly. Period. So, when you're asking these questions and going in this way, it should feel like a conversation. Let the conversation breathe. Get to the next question when it comes. Keep this with you as a template. Well, I just have a little outline of things that my manager makes me ask. So otherwise, I get on a tangent because I can talk about this stuff all day, which ain't that the truth. And then we had a woman, and she was all like, "How long is this gonna take?" And I'm all like, "How long do you want it to take?" And she's like, 5 minutes. And I'm like, "Then maybe you should live." It goes a whole lot faster if only one person's talking. But we could talk about all these jokes and little tales and war stories and blah blah all day long. So you're not even lying to them when you say, "I keep an outline with me just so you don't feel like I could talk your ear off about this stuff if I didn't follow this thing that my manager makes me fill out." See what I'm getting at?
The car one specifically, with the I drive a ... is something that you want to keep. So like, for example, Kylie, you had a gentleman who was driving a 1991 Toyota Camry. If I had asked him, "Yeah, what kind of car are you driving?"
2009 Hyundai Accent.
1991 Toyota.
Oh, sorry. 1991 Toyota Camry.
Oh yeah? I've got no one Camry. How's that one running for you?
Oh, yours is better. Mine's fine.
Yeah. I mean, mine's not giving me any troubles. Like, you happen to get it worked on much? So I mean, mine's been running sweet for Camrys, you know?
Got the oil changed like 3 years ago.
And it's still running just fine. It's a way to get them to open up without sounding like you're really trying to be critical about their car situation. Like basically, you're trying to figure out if they're going to be able to drive their car upwards of 100 miles every day.
But you
How many
also-
cars do you keep at your place?
Getting in the driveway.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, you do. Remember, guys, you do want to make your interview feel at ease. You don't want them to feel like this is just a grilling session. Like, what kind of car do you drive? Great. What's the make, model, year, how many miles? Like, it shouldn't feel that way.
So don't flash your light in your face.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an interrogation. But at the end of the day, it's a conversation where your status is higher than their status simply based off the fact that you have what they want. You have what they want. And you know what? I know what you want. I'll help you get it, but it's not easy to get. And that's in your notes right here on the first page of how. So you can highlight it if you want or underline it. I know what you want. I'll help you get it, but it's not easy to get. And that's the type of energy this whole thing should have. So hopefully that clarifies some questions that you had about how these step 3 questions should be done and how it should feel like. Do you have a health issue that would render you incapable of moving boxes 30 pounds or less? You do not need to say it word for word like that, but you should probably know whether or not someone can move boxes around. Because the last thing you want is to go into a store and have a trainer be like calling you as the person who hired as the DM, and your PDM's calling going, "Hey, this trainee says she can't pick up boxes because she has a chest injury. What do I do?" She's got to pick up boxes. It's part of the job. But she doesn't, she's the only one in the whole market doesn't have to pick up a damn box because she's a chest injury? No, she picks up boxes just like everybody else. Take the sets out, put them in a cart. Can you pull this box right here? This little one? Okay, good. Yeah. Take them out one at a time, put them in the cart, bring the cart over to them, put them back in. You don't got to carry the big ones. Now, if we get the right responses, we're going to move on to the next section, which is return. So if you finish all this stuff, all this step 3 small talk, and these questions go through even, then you're like, okay, cool. Now it's my turn. Now I get to turn on a little bit. Bearing in mind that one of the quintessential rules of this whole thing is 2 ears, one mouth. So it shouldn't feel like, okay, you told me your stuff, now it's time for me to pitch. Like, now I get to go. It should still feel like a conversation. You should still be getting turning points out of them and letting them talk and letting them participate, making them feel like they need to pitch to you. It's just now you get to kind of throw the company at them a little bit in a good way. All right? If they are answering wrong, do you have a car? Nope. Are you looking for full-time work? Nope. Okay. Thanks. Awesome. Well, thank you for your application. We're going to hold your resume on file and be in touch if you move on to the next set of interviews. Okay? I think that's all I need. Thanks for coming in today. We'll be in touch if you move on to the next set of interviews, but we're going to hold your resume on file as well. Okay? Thank you so much for coming in. Have a great day. Boom. Done. Very easy. Idealistically, this interview is conducted by the DM in the store with a veteran. We went over that already. Now, and this is also the point where you are going to take them to go see a show before you turn them. So if step 3 questions go well, your next thing is to come in and say, all right, cool guys, well, why don't we go check out what we do? Come on, I'll take you over to the booth. Yes?
So with that, depending on when a interview starts, and that's the point, what if
The show isn't up at that point?
they don't coincide, or it's in the middle of it, does that matter? Do we want to see a whole show? Do we want to see part of the show?
Well, I'm getting to that right now.
Yeah.
You know, if you hear the valley, and you're in the middle of step 3, and you know you're towards the end of it, it's probably a good time to head over and check it out. They don't need to see every second of the show. In fact, as trainers, everybody in this room could probably go and watch a show for 45 seconds and know whether it's going to be a bombshell or not. If it's going to be a bombshell, you sit that thing out and you let them watch that agent take $70 and put it in their pocket on a 10-piece turn, so you can throw that in their face. You know, and if it's like 8 angry men like this, and they're all like stepping away from the counter every time the agent talks, then it's probably a good idea to be like, yeah, this is what we do, isn't that cool? Yeah, got tomatoes, great, cool, got that's it, let's go continue talking.
Nothing to see here, folks.
Okay, because we want them, so you guys are feeling it out. This is an organic thing. You know, going to see a show is an organic thing. Because in some instances, you're going to have to do the show. You're going to have to be, okay, now I'm going to go put up a pitch, so I'm not losing my pitch time, and do the whole show for them, and then continue the interview. Again, that's not ideal, but it's going to happen. It's for some of us.
You can build a company doing it that way.
Sure can.
It all starts with one person.
Doesn't.
And that's how it began at the beginning, with just one. Everything that he's going through with you guys is exactly how this was done. I pitched, I interviewed. I pitched, I interviewed. I pitched, I interviewed. I then hired 1. I then hired 2. Then hired 3. Before you know it, I had 15, running 5 stores. And maxed out another market and took number 1 again. It's real simple. Is it delegation? Yes. Of your time. Of your time. Because the most important thing is the show must go on. And at the same time, you still have to clean, you still have to wait a couple minute break. And if you look like you're not stressed and you're just doing your job and you're happy about it, and you're talking to them conversation style like Mr. Roccaforte is preaching, it will go real simple and real easy.
Cool. Great. Thank you, Chad. We're going to get to that in just a second. So moving into step 4, which is the turn. Okay, go on.
No, it's okay. No,
It's
it's,
just I'd like to get through this as well.
no. It's I just laughed because he laughed.
Okay, I'll answer your question on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to take a second to talk a little bit about our company and what we do, and we'll go from there. All right, we run a unique business. It's a 6-figure career for the right person. So please, ask any questions you might have. I'm here to answer things candidly for you, and I hope you're candid with me as well. Because we're not looking for yes sir, yes ma'am applicants. We're looking for educated individuals that want to make a committed decision to be part of this organization. Or another line that I use is, we're not looking for yes sir, yes ma'am applicants, we're looking for square pegs that fit into square holes. We're just looking for a right fit here. I'm not going to BS you. You have questions about the company, obviously. Our company is very unique. It is 6 figures for the right person, but it's kind of, I'm always like, it's kind of a weird thing we do. We're a little weird, but that's okay. That's okay. You just got to be okay with the fact that we're weird and that I'm going to give you an honest answer if you ask me an honest question. But don't yes me to death, and don't patronize me by thinking that if you just go, oh yes sir, oh yes sir, oh yes sir, that you're going to get a job. That's not what this is about. So that's all this little phrase says. That's all this little phrase is doing here. It's prepping the next section of the interview to be like, look, just let's be real with each other, okay? Because I don't want you to feel like I'm BSing you, and I don't want you to try to BS me, because you won't get a job that way. It's a real company. It's a little weird, but it's real. And they put real money in my real bank account that I then go and spend on real things. Real bottles of booze. Okay.
I asked 2 questions to them after they see it. I said, so what do you think about the show? I taken their reaction, and then you came to see yourself.
Of course, yep. And that's absolutely perfect instinct and standard procedure here. What'd you think? You know, what do you think about what we do? Kind of goofy, huh? Cool. Could you see yourself doing it?
But their reactions and their answers, you can get a lot out of that.
Absolutely. You have to watch like a hawk when they're answering those questions, because every single person you interview is going to say, in some way, yes to that last question. Could you see yourself doing it? But at the end of the day, yes.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool.
What does the song say? Yeah, because there's a huge difference between.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I liked it.
I could see myself. Yeah.
I could see myself doing it.
Yeah, that's totally different from.
When can I start?
Yeah. When can I start?
Yeah.
Like, do I have the job?
Or even
can we
like,
do this?
Or even like, I could totally do that. Is very different from like, yeah, I think I would be good at something like that. That's a no in my
Right?
world.
Yeah.
Like the body language, like this chubby thing, the body language and everything, that's a total no in my world. I'm like, oh, okay, great. We'll be holding on to your file. You see where I'm getting at though? If they take a look at that picture, you're absolutely right, and they're like, oh yeah, I could probably do this. I could probably do that.
It's the same way as when we ask folks, can you commit yourself to this job 100% in the call to hire?
Yep.
And when they're just like, yeah, I guess so. Okay, well this time we're actually full. We're going to go ahead and hold on to your resume, and we'll call you a later time. I've done it many a times. If they do not answer the question right, that they are going to dedicate themselves 100%. I actually say 1,000, but still, if they don't, it's the same way. You have to read that answer correctly.
Cool. So let's just go into a couple of things that we hit when we do our side. We're doing our turn now. Our side of it, number 4. Okay. First thing is about the company. Always work questions into these sections. Check in and ask questions. You're looking for health and dental benefits, right? Is a good one. Pick in the conversation 2 tie downs. Does anybody know what a tie down is?
No.
Dustin?
You want to say
A
yes.
statement that makes them agree with you.
Did like
Holds them accountable.
give me an example.
Forces them to
So,
commit.
it forces them to commit to what you were wanting.
That's
them to
correct,
commit.
Natalie. That's
for
correct.
For example, like in the show, we would say,
Like everybody's cooking at home, right?
everybody's cooking at home. Yes, correct. Makes sense.
That's a tie down. So in
Okay.
in typical sales jargon, a tie down is when Chad Jude does tie down sentences pretty much every other sentence.
You would agree, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Makes sense, right? My thoughts, right? My thoughts. Make sense? My thoughts.
Would
Don't you agree? My thoughts, right? Yes.
Right.
It forces them.
The Socratic sales.
It forces them to agree with you. So sometime in this interview, when you've dialed in and you're like, yup, we're gonna turn this person, we want them to take this job, pick 2 tie downs. And the first one right off the rip I can tell you that's gonna go with a lot of different people is you're looking for health and dental benefits, right? Obamacare? Yeah, me too. Okay? Because that one they're gonna go, oh, I get health and dental. Okay, this is a real company. We're not just slicing tomatoes in the store, we're slicing tomatoes in the store and then I get to go to the doctor if I'm sick.
Oh, it's a W-2 job.
Yes.
Okay? And you can pick another one based on how you want to turn them and what you think that they like. But the things like right, that make sense, forcing them to agree. Wouldn't you agree?
I would.
Yeah. So we have multi-million-dollar contracts with Walmart, Safeway, A&P, Pathmark, military bases. You know, the CEO was selling knives in the streets of Manhattan, and now he runs the most successful retail payment company in the whole country.
World.
Willikers. In the world. That's right. You know, we offer health, dental, vision, and this is just a basic gist of what you can say. You're going to fashion exactly what you're going to say depending on who's in front of you. Like I said, this is not meant to be the be-all, end-all. These are the exact words that you will recite. This is a basic skeleton, like I said earlier. Now, and then you take it and augment it in a way where you're like, okay, this is organically going to work for this person that's sitting in front of me. Because you all have the talent to do that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the room right now. Always sell the upward growth. Rick does it in his number 3 interviews all the time. He does it in an awesome way. He's got this magical thing where he does the takeaway of, if we don't select you, it's not because you're not qualified, but it's because the market's small now, and we're only selecting people that we think will be good to move up in upward management. Because the people on the ground right now are the people that are going to go up to the top. Just to give you an idea of what that means, we've got managers, area managers, regional managers, national managers, global manager. Like, at the end of the day, that's sort of where that is going. Right now, there's just DMs and Rick the NTM. But when all is said and done, it's going to be a scope that pulls that entire, it's going to be this whole big thing. Because once you get enough people under you where you're like, I can't control these people all by myself. I need more help. Those will be your assistant managers. And then all of a sudden your assistant managers will be your DMs in certain particular markets, and you'll be the area manager. And then as it grows even more, your DMs will move up to different area managers for different sectors. You'll be the regional manager there. And then other assistant managers that they had will be promoted to DMs.
It's very organic. It's very organic. You have to explain it as an organic process, not a forced process. We're not putting people in positions just to put them in positions. We're letting the people dictate their position by how they handle their position. It's not on seniority. It's about how you come in and what you do, how you do your job. It's really that simple. But you have to pitch everything. Look at them and say, you could come in today, and before you know it, within a year, you might be running the company. For real. I don't know you. I don't know what you're about. Bring it if you got it.
So be brief when you're doing that. You want to definitely explain the path to being a trainer, manager, key staff, describe the status of the market and what roads are necessary to be committed in that way. But make sure that you don't get too involved or it'll scare them away. They don't even have a job yet. And you're talking to them about, like, you could be the regional manager for all of the southeast of America. Like, what the fuck? Whoa, hold on. Like, I'm just trying to pay my rent. Like, okay, like, they'll figure that stuff out on their own, but you need to put a drop here. There needs to be a drop of, hey, this isn't a dead end. This is not a dead end. Because the talented people like the Judys and the Alvins wouldn't be sitting in this room right now if they thought it was a dead end. Because you've been around the block already. You already done it. You already know it. Alvin, you've been around the block already. You already done it and known it. You could probably write this up the same exact way. But you're sitting in the room, why? Because you know that it goes up from here. You know that there's a higher trajectory than just what's happening in the room right now in this very moment. And they need to know that too, so that they feel like, oh man, that company's got something going for them. That's the tipping point. So that's why we mention it, but we don't get too involved with it. Because the tipping point is, yeah, it's a great job for right now. Oh, by the way, you could also go up and, your 6 figures will become, $1/5 of a million or $250,000 or $500,000. I don't know. We don't know where this goes. We don't know how many reps you can get under you. the dollar override on top of it, you know?
Oh, we're on oil.
We're standing on oil, buddy. That's all I know. When you stand on oil, you keep pumping. Just keep going until there's nothing left. So that's a little bit about the company. When you go to basic scheduling, just cover the basics. Just answer the normal stuff for them. Don't be like, you know, like Leo. I know that you're very concerned about scheduling. So if you were running one of these, you may spend too much time on scheduling, describing how, oh, you could get into an audition if you needed to for this part, you could kind of go in like for sort of late. If you work from 11 to 8, you're still working the 8 hours, but you could slide it down. No, it's like this. These are the hours we work. The work week runs from Tuesday to Monday. So you want to clarify for them that because weekends are our strongest suit with this type of business, we don't run our business from, you know, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. We run 7 days a week, Tuesday to Monday. And that's also how payroll works too. So at the end of your week, you're going to fill out your payroll. Monday is your day that you fill out your payroll at the end of your week, because we run our weeks from Tuesday to Monday, 7 days a week. Out of those 14 shifts, you get to request 4 of those shifts off, meaning you are eligible to work 10 of those shifts. Depending on the size of your market, you'll probably work 5 of those shifts. And this is how you break it down for them. And I recommend you even have a paper that's just kind of like has all the math on it, so you can just kind of turn it and slide it to them and just show them and point as you're going. Because math is sometimes hard for people to mentally follow, but if you show it to them visually, you can write it as you go too. But what I'm saying is you should definitely have something that kind of breaks it down for them. Because I'll tell you one thing right now. If these people don't understand their basic scheduling and their compensation, they will not take the position. They will tell you they'll take it. They'll be all excited. They'll be hoorah, shishkamba. They'll talk to Rick about la-di-da-di-doo-di-dee. But you will not see them at day 1 of training if they do not understand scheduling and compensation. You just won't. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I don't know what I'm getting myself into and how much it's going to pay, I'm not doing it. Period. So, yes, Ms. Wilson.
How do you sell it to them if you're like growing a market so you don't really have the option for them to work, you know, random shifts in a 7-day period? They have to work a 5-day.
Well, you're gonna. I mean, for smaller markets, you're gonna have a Thursday through Monday-ish run, like opening on a Wednesday night, like Ethan is doing.
I'm doing
great
it right now. We're doing Thursday to Monday runs.
But all your
I've
people
got
are
2 guys.
doing
I'm running them in 2 stores, and basically they know that they're at the ground level for this market, and so if they succeed, they will be first choice to step up into management and training roles and different things of this nature. And then I play them against each other. I'm like, whose store's doing more this week? All right, stay in contact with each other, not just with
You just finished doing a contest, right?
Yeah.
He had a so he had 2 guys. He had 2 guys, and all he requested was, because remember, TT, Twin Towers Trading, is 8-hour days, Thursday through Monday. That was the original requirement. And then we did like Wednesday PM, and we were like, oh, the grosses really go up if we open the store on Wednesday. And then we were like, what if we pushed it to Tuesday? I really liked working at Westbury Walmart. Let's just push it to Tuesday. Nobody's okay. We'll push it to Tuesday. Why not? It's like, what if we pushed it to Wednesday? We could probably get like 400 cents out of it. Push it to Wednesday, huh, Rick? Rick's like, yeah, leave that Walmart open till Wednesday. Okay, then we push it to Wednesday. And we're like, hey, what if you open the one store on Wednesday while I'm closing down the other store on Wednesday? And then we go into the next store on Thursday, and we run that one till Wednesday, and we do it all over again. You're like, yeah, okay, cool. And then that's 2 people running 7 days a week. But the point of all this is when you have your answer is when you have a smaller market, you're going to run the normal TT schedule, but you're going to influence them to open stores on Wednesday evening. You're going to influence them to do that half-day work, and if the store's kicking butt and taking names, to do the halfway work on the back end. To kind of pad and buffer it. You're only working 5 days a week, but hey, if the money's there, you know, and if you want to work 5 days a week, you have to open up on Wednesday night. Because let's be honest, not one single person in this room gets a full day out on Thursday if you're opening up.
That's right.
Because you're jerking around trying to figure out, oh, you know, this and that and the other thing, and then, okay, I'm ready to do a pitch. Oh, wait, does it scan? Let me go scan it real quick. Oh, it's scanning for $10. Okay, who can fix this? Oh, you can't fix it, but Judy can? Great, I'll go talk to Judy. Oh, Judy can't fix it, but Stacy can? Okay, I'll go talk to
Stacy's
Stacy.
at lunch.
Oh, Stacy's at lunch, exactly. Oh, Stacy's not in the building. Okay, well, when does Stacy get back? Oh, she gets back at 4. Okay, can anybody else change this? No? Who has a gun that can change the darn thing? Nobody? And then you've wasted half a Thursday over the stupid gun thing, or you don't have or you go to the Walmart and you're like, oh, this isn't a super Walmart? I don't have any produce here? Oh, I gotta go find produce? Where's the nearest grocery store? And then you jerk around in the grocery store for, an hour, and you come back, and then you're like, okay, now I gotta prep all the produce, and you see where I'm going with this. Wednesday opens means you're working 5 days, actually working, because in my opinion, you are not at work unless you're pitching, period.
I get that.
There's prep work that happens before you pitch, but that prep work is just setting you up for
It's
success.
like ironing
when you
your
are
clothes
working.
before you go to work.
Yeah.
It's something you got to do in order to.
I know where Kylie's asking.
What's her question?
What Kylie's asking, in essence, I see where she's coming from. It's the same type scenario. You still pitch a 7-day schedule, okay? You still do availability the same way. You just have to be the one that works those times that they can't work. Makes sense if you're at the initial phases of just 1 or 2 people.
Okay, so I shouldn't, if for a brand new market, I shouldn't be pitching a Thursday through Monday where you work 5 days single loads.
I'd still
should be
pitch a
pitching-
7 because, as Mr. Smith will attest to, even with 2 people on a schedule, I can schedule it 7 days with 2 people. What I do is 2 people, 2 days a week, they would get single O's, and then they would do AMs and PMs on the busiest days to maximize the money
Right.
for the store. But then the single O's would at least overlap at an extra 3
Okay,
or 4
so
hours.
even if that other person is you, like
Correct.
you just have one person. Okay.
Correct.
And then you'll eventually add someone into the us.
You have somebody working Wednesday through Sunday, and somebody working Saturday through Wednesday. You've got 2 people doing an 8-day run, and look at that, you've got AMs, PMs on the weekends, so you're not wasting your weekend shifts.
But can you say also alternately we can have you do your own store run where you're doing a Thursday through Monday?
I wouldn't. You're going to cheat yourself from the big picture. That's when the loop runs take effect. Make sense? Like if they want to go out of town and do their own store, then they will be able to get their own contract for 5 days or 6 days, depending on how many they wanted to. But yes, but in the market where you're going, if you lead them from the beginning that way, then they're going to always want that way. For instance, in Kentucky, it was sold that we start on Thursdays, so nobody in Kentucky can work Wednesday. However, if you look at Kentucky on Wednesday, the days I do make them set up when they're available, their Thursdays are out of the park through the roof. You know what I'm saying? But the ones when they set up on Thursday, their Fridays are through the roof.
But
So-
part of that too is, and I think that Rick said it was going to be changed, but the biggest issue with that is that up until literally like right now, like this conference, the recruiters have been pitching.
Right, but on the side of that, what we're
Yeah.
going forward, it's about what we do. This
Oh, yeah.
is the recruiting. This is what we say. You know what I'm saying? We've already terminated one of the recruiters and we're in the process of the other one at the same time. So don't worry. What you see is what you get right here. This is where we're at this point.
That's
If
why
you-
you're
If you
getting
tell them
tools.
7-day schedule, that you can request 4 days off, 4 shifts off, you know what I'm saying? From the beginning, it makes them always think that. You know what I'm saying? Always think that. And then you're good.
So just to continue with basic scheduling, a full day is 10 to 7. And you're like, yeah, you just, the normal 10 to 7, show up at the store at 9:30, you pitch your the strongest 8 hours or 9 hours of the day. Okay? Anything you do on a regular weekly basis during any of those times? Can't tell you how many times that question saved my butt. Oh, not really. I just take class from 10 a.m. to noon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Oh. We'll keep your application on file. Thank you so much for coming in. Like, you see where I'm getting at? You have to figure out what they're doing. If they say, no, I don't really do anything, well, living on the couch. Like, I run a bar out of my apartment twice a month. It's my hobby. Like, you see what I'm getting at? Like, there needs to be, that's another conversation point and also a way to figure out what type of person they are and what they're doing with their week. Because if they're like, every weekend, I go for a 4-hour dinner to my grandmother's. That's beautiful. This probably is not the job for you. Like, you got to be able to work the weekends. And when you are going over scheduling, make sure that you let them know that there's flexibility in the position in the sense that you can request these weekly shifts off and take time if needed, for example, touring show as an actor. But ideally, we're looking for the full-time employees. And are you open to training on the road for 2 weeks? If you were selected, are you open to training on the road? What is your schedule like that would keep you from traveling? Are you okay with travel? This is a kind of a travel-based job. We want to make sure that that's it going in that direction. Okay? So that's what I have to say about scheduling. We'll push in a second. Moving on to compensation. We're going to try to keep it real simple for them when we talk about compensation. You don't want to oversell compensation. Yeah, we make a ton of money, but nobody believes it. The women in the Toms River Walmart tell me to get a real job. I'm laughing all the way to the bank, but that's the instinct that people have in their minds. That's the preconception. That's the pre-made notion. So don't try to totally dispel that notion. Just be confident in what you're saying. Keep it real simple. Representative gets paid $7 a set. So if the average shift is about 30 sets out, so at $7 per set, that agent made about $200 in their 6-hour shift. Divide that by the hourly rate, and you're making about $35 an hour. So, although it's a commission job, and I love this line, this is one of my favorite things to use. Although it's a commission job, if you prefer to be paid hourly, I'll pay you $18 per hour myself, out of my own pocket. And I'll just take your commissions as payment. Now, I may lose out the first couple of weeks when you're learning, but once you get the hang of it, I'll be making more money off you than you're making off you. It's doing you a disservice to pay you an hourly rate. Because most demonstrators get paid 10 to 14 an hour. So I'm doing you better by paying you 18 an hour, and I'm still going to make money. Because our average rep is making about $30 to $35 an hour, based off of the math I just showed you. And granted, that's not the everyday, but that's the average. Let's be honest with ourselves. We've all had the big days, we've all had the little days. But you could probably agree that 25, 30 cents a shift is a good average statement across the board on a nationwide for a 6-hour shift. Okay, that means that you guys are making about $200 every 6 hours. You're making about $30 an hour at least. If somebody asked you what your hourly pay was, you'd be able to confidently say, I make at least 30 hours a week, or $30 an hour. Excuse me.
30,000.
Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? So when you break it down for them that way, they don't get scared. If you're just like, this is a commission-based job, but don't worry, you make $800 a week usually. You know, our low reps make this. It starts to sound like BS. Our high reps make this. They want to hear the hourly. People want to hear the hourly. The only people that don't care about the hourly are the actors, because they're like, if there's any money at all, if you hand me a check, I will work for you. Like, but everybody else wants to know the hourly rate. Yes, sir.
Do you recommend that on our ads that we mention hourly rate?
If you do it truthfully, because what's going to happen is, if you put the hourly rate on the ad, and then they ask about payment in this interview, and you're like, oh, it's a commission-based job, but here's how it breaks down, they're going to be like, oh, so there's not an hourly pay.
You have to put those 3 letters AVG.
Yeah, that's...
AVG, average.
I put on mine, because I've dropped ads, $25 an hour average, and I get responses up the wazoo. Because we know people can make $25 an hour on this job easy breezy.
Yeah.
And when the office called me out and said, man, we had one of our old reps find your ad. They want to know when we started paying $25 an hour. I was like, that says average. You know, average. And frankly, if they're making that, they probably won't last too long. You know?
And if they couldn't read the ad, then you're probably not the right fit for the job.
Exactly.
An X is an X for a reason.
Make sure in your ads, guys, that you put in the requirements needs to be able to read. So that's the compensation, and then here's the other thing, and this is something that in this interview, and then especially at the call to hire, and we're going to go over script orientation after lunch, but this is the first seed planting bud that happens, mentioning the script bonus. Just so you know, there's built-in weekly salaries for managers and trainers on top of your commissions, and there's built-in overrides for managers and trainers on top of your commission. So if upward growth was something that you were interested, there is a lot of, good compensation for that sort of stuff. The most important thing for you to think about, though, if you were selected, is that we do offer a $700 script bonus for memorizing your script. Okay? Because right off the bat, that's like a hiring, that's like a sign-on bonus. That's kind of cool. Like, actually the only reason why I'm standing here right now. Because Rick called and was like, "You want to do this?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to do anything that's like the other company ever again for the rest of my life." He was like, "They're gonna pay you $700 to memorize the script." I'm like, "Which product?" Envy. I'm like, "I already know that." So you're gonna pay me $700 to do something I already did.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Like, I'm in for 7 weeks.
And here I am standing in the room. So like, you know what I mean? That's another tipping point. That's another selling point that needs to be highlighted because people aren't doing it.
It's $200 plus a page.
I get people into day one of training going over it was actually just recently. It was the Colorado guy. Day 3 of training, I'm going over payroll with him, sitting down in the McDonald's going over payroll in the Walmart. And I said, "Oh, and by the way, make sure you put your $100 bonus on there. It's going to be paid over the course of 7 weeks for your $700 memorization bonus."
Yeah, no
And
idea.
he goes, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Okay, the company is going to pay you $700 to memorize the script that you now have already memorized."
You know,
So here we go. Travel opportunity, company culture. This is personal preference. Whatever makes you proud to work for TT is what you're going to bring up here. And this is also where you're going to tie back what they enjoyed about their own job. This is where you now take what you remembered from everything that they were talking about and put it back into...
and when he says remembered, it's okay to make notes when they're talking. When you make notes when people are talking, they feel important. They feel like, wow, what I'm saying he cares about. I make notes all over their resumes because that really shows them that I am interviewing them. This isn't just, us talking. It's a real interview. Conversational style.
Cool. And then finally, training. We're just going to tell them a little bit about the training because you don't know if the candidate's right for you until you explain to them a little bit about the training process. That's a little bit about what we do. That's the second of 3 interviews that we conduct. And if you make it to round 3, you'll have the script and paperwork in your possession pretty soon. You wouldn't have a problem getting started on those right away, would you? That's another little tie-down moment. Okay. Great. During training calls, just so you know, during training we do cover all gas, tolls, travel expenses, and a $25 a day per diem for food.
Who does that?
However, we do. TTT. However, this is an apprenticeship during your training, and that's the word that I want you to use. It is an apprenticeship during training. You are paid for your sales only. Now, just so you know, new agents who come in fully memorized are making between $500 and $1,000 in their first week. But it's an apprenticeship. You will get paid for your sales just like I get paid for my sales, but we're not going to throw you $500 a week to learn something. You're going to learn it like an apprentice because this is a craft and an art, and we're doing you a favor just by teaching it to you. And that's the way it needs to feel. Otherwise, they're going to feel like they're entitled to some salary just for sitting there and learning the thing. And that's not the case, and it should never be the case. Because we're not teaching them like conveyor belt, like hit the hammer here, hit the hammer here, hit the... We're giving them a craft. We're giving them an art form that they
It
can
really
use
is. What's
all
in
across
my
their
head
whole life.
Goes everywhere.
It does.
How many of us here have started turning people in weird ways
Everywhere.
since this job?
What,
You're like, yeah,
everywhere.
I turned that person.
Can't put nodding my head.
Okay? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You get free
Ben.
refills on the
That's
coffee,
exactly right.
I know, right?
So just to bring it back, you can do it at lunch. You can do it at lunch. I just want to get to the food because it's here and I'm hungry. Training date start time is going to be not much more than 7 days from that interview date because you're going to have if you like them, you're going to have the 3-way call with Rick pretty much
Same day.
same day or day after, and then day after you're hiring them. Okay, and then when you hire them, well, we'll go over that. We'll go over call to hire. Going through this section, never make the applicant feel like they've already scored the job. At the very end, step 5 is just sort of like the close. And the energy is so, that's great. Hearing a little bit about what we do, I'm going to turn to you and ask again, what attracts you to the position now that you know more about it? So you're going to go back and let them finish the pitch to you. Now that you've heard the facts, finish your pitch to me. Do the close, baby. Build a package on me. Give me the turn ceremony. Show me what you're working with. You know, do your close on me now. Okay, that's a good one. I like that one. All right, or that's not so good. Let's get more specific. Let's get more specific. Okay, that's kind of crap. Oh, maybe that's good. So you get to go back and have another round of you're going to pitch at me. And then finally, just great. Any last questions? Awesome. Well, look, it was wonderful to meet you. Thanks for coming in today. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I can answer any questions you might have. Other than that, we're going to be in touch, and good luck on your job search. Good luck.
like that one.
Good luck with your job search.
I think that's what Rick said, and the lady just, and she's like, I don't have it.
Because you don't got it.
It was just like,
Good luck. Good luck on your job search. You have a great day now. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
I like that.
We'd like to do the round 3 interview. Oh, me? Yeah, this is our national training manager, Richard Coffey. Okay, everybody cool with that?